Welcome back to the Let's Learn Angular series, where I record myself learning Angular in real time, kind of like a live stream, only without all the comments. This is episode number 10. And today we're working on continuing through the Tour Heroes tutorial. And we are on section number 6 today, where we are going to be getting data from a server. But before we begin, somebody did make mention of refactoring in Angular and brought up the topic of tooling. And I thought that would be kind of interesting to explore off camera. And what I found, at least for VS Code, is that there's not really a lot of options. So there is this tool called ng Refactor. I'm just going to jump into VS Code here. And of course, I forgot to make a commit, so let's just take care of that really quick. We got our styles for the hero detail. We've got the back button that we added and the logic for it. So I'm just going to add these to their own commit, and we'll just say add back button to hero details. And I'm going to switch over here. This is, I guess, just the styling. So add styles to hero details. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna open up the extensions tab here, and we'll just go to ng Refactor. So this is the extension. Now, this is very much in its infancy, so there's actually not a ton you can do. Basically, the only functionality is toggling between a template URL and a template string. So just to demonstrate real quick, if I go to app component, I can decide maybe that I don't want this to be an HTML file anymore. And I can toggle this to be inline HTML, and it yanks everything out. And if I look over here, you can see it actually automatically deleted my component. So I guess I could see this being beneficial if you weren't generating your components. I'm not really sure what the application of this would be, to be honest, but it's there. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that this plugin does. If you go to the page, the marketplace page, which I'm blanking on where those links live at this moment. Usually there's a link where you can, oh, here you go. You just click on the title. There is a list of things that they want to do eventually. Renaming components, moving components, extracting them. So keep your eye on this plugin and see it develop. Maybe contribute to it if you're interested and you feel like you can. It'd be really cool to see some refactoring tools in Angular. That said, let me go back to Notion. I did find an interesting one called ng Error Fixer. So this one, I was having trouble getting it to actually work properly. It seems like it wants it kind of like installed as a global dependency, and then you sort of just run it in the background and it's always automatically fixing things for you. I probably don't want to demo it because I was having it like kind of crash VS Code on me earlier. So it's something to check out. But basically what it'll do is if a component has not been registered with your module and you get the red squigglies, it'll resolve it for you. It'll automatically import it into your module. How it figures out which module is the right module to import it into, maybe it walks up the tree of the component that you're inside and finds out which one this is. I'm not sure, but it is pretty cool when it works, but it doesn't always work. And then the only other tool, this isn't really related to refactoring, and you guys all already saw that I installed the Angular language service, and that's been where I've gotten most of the functionality that you've seen on camera so far. Angular schematics. So if you don't like typing commands out in the command line, which I can see would be very annoying as your application gets bigger and just the nesting of your components and modules and services gets more complicated. writing this stuff by hand would get more annoying. So this plugin, you can, pretty sure you can right click on a folder and then you can say what you want to generate. So if I wanted to generate a new component here, and maybe we called it a hero list, if that was something that we were going to make, and I can hit enter, and I can just select from some of these options here. I'm just going to say default, and we'll click confirm. And it should scaffold out a hero list directory in here underneath dashboard, and a whole bunch of components just got, or rather all the files for the component just got generated just like it would from the CLI. So that's a pretty cool plugin. Other than that, I have not seen, oh look, what happened here? Oh, sorry, never mind. That's something else. But yeah, so it generated that. Pretty cool plugin. That's pretty much all I've been able to find so far for Angular tooling in VS Code that I think is worth looking at, or at least watching the development of. So I'm just gonna discard all these changes because we don't need any of that. And we're gonna move on to the actual tutorial, because that's what everybody's here for. So getting data from a server. In this tutorial, you'll add the following data persistence features with help from Angular's HTTP client. The hero service gets hero data with HTTP requests. Users can add, edit, and delete heroes and save these changes over HTTP. Users can search for heroes by name. Okay, so enabling HTTP services. HTTP client is Angular's mechanism for communicating with a remote server over HTTP. Make HTTP client available everywhere in the application in 2 steps. First, add it to the root app module by importing it. Okay, so I'm going to copy this import. I'm going to switch over to that app module TS, this one. And we'll just import it here. So now that we have it, I'm sure we're going to have to import it in the decorator. So next, still in the app module, add HTTP client module to the imports array. So I'll just go over here and just down. We'll do HTTP. Is it coming up? HTTP client module. There it is. All right. And if I save that with the right keyboard shortcut, we can move on. So simulate a data server. This tutorial sample mimics communication with a remote data server by using the in-memory web API module. And we took a very quick look at that earlier on in this series, and basically just looks like something that does exactly what it says. It simulates a server in memory. So it seems kind of interesting, and let's just keep going through here. So after installing the module, the application will make requests to and receive responses from the HTTP client without knowing that the in-memory web API is intercepting those requests, applying them to an in-memory data store, and returning simulated responses. By using the in-memory web API, you won't have to set up a server to learn about HTTP client. So that's actually really cool. Especially if you're just a front-end dev and you don't want to get caught up in figuring out how to make a server just to be able to make your application work with an API. Important note, the in-memory web API module has nothing to do with HTTP in Angular. If you're reading this tutorial to learn about HTTP client, you can skip over this step. If you're coding along with this tutorial, stay here and add the in-memory web API. Now, well, we are coding along with this tutorial, so we are definitely going to do that. So it looks like we grab it here, and if we go over into our command line, and we'll just paste that down here, npm install angular in-memory web API -- save. And now that that's installed, we'll move on to the next step. So in the app module, import the HTTP client in memory web API module. That is a handful to say. That is quite the class name. And in the in-memory data service class, which you will create in a moment. Okay, so looks like we'll just copy these. We'll go back to our app module TS file. And just up here underneath these imports, we'll add those. And of course, this one cannot find because that's a separate thing. Yeah, it's separate. So we still have to create this one. After the HTTP client module, add the HTTP client in-memory web API module to the app module imports array and configure it with the in-memory data service. So we will add, what's it saying here? The HTTP client in-memory web API module intercepts HTTP requests. So just leave a little comment there, tell you what it is. And then we call for root and then pass in the in-memory data service, which we haven't made yet. And then it's got this other object, like config object, which says data encapsulation is false, which we're not sure what that means yet, but I'm sure we're going to find out. So let's bring this over into imports, paste that in here. And this is kind of something that we haven't really seen before. Apparently oh no, sorry, never mind. We are actually invoking the function. For a second there, I was reading that in a weird way, like we're passing a function into import, but we are not. So we're just calling the response of whatever for root is, which returns some in-memory backend config args, or sometimes undefined. All right, so let's go down here. So the for root configuration method takes an in-memory data service class that primes the in-memory database. Generate the class at source/app/in-memory data service.ts with the following command. So we will grab that. Actually, you know what? Let's use our tool. What if I go to where do we want it to live /app? So I'll right click on app, Angular generate service. And we'll call it, what were we supposed to call it? In-memory data? In-memory data, I think was the path that they wanted, just like that, yeah. In-memory data dot service dot ts. I think this is how you do that. Okay. Oh, that's not actually how I wanted to do that. So we'll fix that. Just gonna grab these and delete, and then probably go to app module and we accidentally imported that twice. Get rid of that. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good. Let's try doing that again. If I go app generate service, we'll just call it in memory database or data, in memory data. What's that give us? Hey, there we go. Okay, that's what we want. And it gave us a spec file, which we're not going to use yet. So that's there, and then this should be working. Why is it not working? What's it saying? Cannot find module. Really? In memory data. Oh, because it called it this. So yeah, I'm not sure how you were supposed to generate that. In memory. Oh no, that wouldn't be why that's not working. Did I spell it properly? What's going on? In memory data service. Well, one way to fix this would actually just be to delete that and see. Can VS Code just import that? It can. Okay, well, I must have spelled something wrong. We go back to the import up here. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it's working. Maybe you saw what was wrong there and you're just going crazy, but I just don't see the typo. There must have been one, right? Now, why is this not working? Interface create DB is declared. Argument of type of it's not assignable. Oh, okay, yeah, that's gonna get fixed in just a minute. So we created it. Now we actually have to put some stuff in here, and this is the main thing, right? What the TypeScript was complaining because it's expecting something that implements an in-memory DB service. We haven't done that yet. So let's replace the following. So we pull in our injectable, like, oh, I keep clicking on that, and I don't mean to. So injectable, which we always need, that's what makes a service a service, is it's a class decorated with injectable. We're importing that in-memory DB service from the Angular package that they had us install earlier, and then we're bringing in our hero type so that we can create some heroes, and that happens right here. We have this create DB function. Basically, we're just taking what we used to have in that, well, I mean, we still have it in that mock hero constant. Now it's just going to live here inside this create DB method, and that's going to return an object that is the array of heroes. And then what do we have down here? We have this get ID. It says overrides the gen ID method. Oh, sorry, not get ID, gen ID. So this is an override, meaning that this interface defines a function called gen ID, and we're replacing it. So it takes a heroes array, which returns a number, and we're just returning the heroes.length greater than 0. So if it's greater than 0, we're going to do the max of our heroes map. Oh, the max of whatever the biggest ID is in our heroes array plus 1. If length is not greater than 0, then we just return 11. I think I read that right. All right, let's copy all that, switch over into VS Code. We're going to go to that service and just replace everything in there with that. And if I go back to app module, you'll see that issue that we were having earlier went away because we are implementing the interface, this in-memory DB service. This is a nice thing about TypeScript, is kind of helps you, holds your hand a little through these things. And as you can imagine, this probably is forcing us to implement that create DB method. So if I were to comment that out, we probably are going to be in trouble because it's saying that we need to have this method defined. So I'll bring that back. And at this point, we should probably not have any compilation errors at the very least. If I go back to our app, which turns out I'm not running anymore. So let's open this guy up here. And I think it was just ng serve -- open. And that's going to open up our app, and no compilation errors. Everything should be working the same as it was. We can navigate back and forth between these pages. We still have the messages section. I can click on hero detail. I can go back, go to the heroes list. So all the things are working. So yeah, let's go on to the next step, which is, well, first it's going to give us a little explanation. So the in-memory data service.ts file will take over the function of mockheroes.ts. However, don't delete mockheroes.ts yet, as you still need it for a few more steps of this tutorial. When the server is ready, you'll detach the in-memory web API, and the application's request will go through to the server. Heroes and HTTP. In the hero service, import HTTP client and HTTP headers. So we're going to grab this import here. It's coming from common/HTTP in the Angular library. So we're just going to go over to that hero service now. And I will close the terminal, close that. close these. We don't need them anymore. Hero service.ts. We'll just jump over into the imports here and drop that in. Now that I have those imports, we can go back. Still in the hero service, inject HTTP client into the constructor in a private property called HTTP. So just grab this part here. We're going to go back into our hero service and we'll add a new constructor argument. And now notice that you keep injecting the message service, but since you'll call it so frequently, wrap it in a private log method. So in hero service, we'll say log a hero service message with the oh, I see. Because we are always going to say the same thing over and over again. So we'll grab this. Actually, just grab the whole thing. Go down here and add that private method there. So I'm assuming we're going to replace this with just log, right? Be like, if you control D, or rather if I go this way, so control D, and we can just say log. And then I shouldn't actually need, basically from here to there on both of these. This is the equivalent. So we're just saying log, pass a message. And so now it just always says hero service : something. Yeah. So define the hero's URL from the :base / collection name with the address of the hero's resource on the server. Here, base is the resource to which requests are made, and collection name is the hero's data object in the in-memory data service. So we're going to add this hero's URL called API/heroes, which we'll put up here. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Copy that. Okay. Now get heroes with HTTP client. The current hero service.getHeroes method uses the RxJS of function to return an array of mock heroes as an observable of type hero array. So we need. Wait, we already do this, right? Okay, I think it's just reminding us. So convert that method to use HTTP client as follows. So we're going to do a get of type hero array, and then we're just going to pass in the hero URL. So I'm going to grab this here. And I guess it doesn't want us to log anymore for some reason. But I'm going to keep it that way just because I like seeing the log. So yeah, we have that. And then we will refresh the browser. The hero data should successfully load from the mock server. Okay, so let's check this out. If I refresh, we can see hero 11. That's pretty cool. And we still see our top heroes. We still have our heroes list. That's really cool. So is that... Are there network requests now? There's not. Hang on. So we're saying heroes URL, which is API/heroes. That's where we get our heroes now. And then, hang on. How does it know? I got lost here. I'm confused. Where are our heroes actually coming from? Let me go back to the app module. So we're pulling in, we're saying HTTP client in-memory API module, setting up the in-memory data service, which is, let's see, create database. So we have this database of heroes. So is this just like convention? Is it, hang on, let me reread that last section of the tutorial. It's saying that the URL, define the hero's URL of the form :base, which must be default to API, and then whatever the collection name is, which is heroes in our case. But why does it know that it's called heroes? Is it because of, right, I forgot that we were returning an object. So this is like shorthand for doing this, by the way, right? So we're saying that we have an object and there's a key called heroes, and the value is our heroes array. So create DB is setting up like a collection. This is how I'm kind of understanding this. There's a collection called heroes because of this. So like I could have returned a whole bunch of other stuff here too. Like maybe there was users could use the same pattern. But yeah, this is where that's coming from. So let's see. We were here. HTTP client methods return one value. All HTTP client methods return an RxJS observable of something. HTTP is a request response protocol. You make a request, it returns a single response. In general, an observable can return multiple values over time. An observable from HTTP client always emits a single value and then completes, never to emit again. This particular HTTP client.get call returns an observable of type hero array that is an observable of hero arrays. In practice, it will only return a single hero array. HTTP client.get returns response data. It returns the body of the response as an untyped JSON object by default, applying the optional type specifier hero array adds TypeScript capabilities which reduce errors during compile time. The server's data API determines the shape of the JSON data. The tour of heroes data API returns the hero data as an array. So that was basically just explaining that this call over here, when we say get, technically, we could have not did this and it would be valid. It's not valid because we're being smart about our types and we're actually saying that this has to return observable of type hero, but you could be lazy about this if you wanted. You could kind of escape out and just say any, what would you do? Any array or just any? Yeah, like that. But then you won't know what this is. All you know is that it's an array. But once you start iterating over these things, there's not a lot you can do about it in terms of IntelliSense. So like, let's say I wanted to grab something off of this, like heroes. Let's say I went like this. Oh yeah, right. I forgot that this is an observable, so I can't just do that. So I'd have to go up to where we're subscribing. But let's say you wanted to grab a hero off of this thing after you've subscribed, like you wouldn't even know what it is. So that's what it's explaining here. So I can just go hero array. Change this back also to hero array. Okay. Other APIs may bury the data that you want within an object. You might have to dig that data out by processing the observable result with RxJS map operator. Although not discussed here, there's an example of map in the getHero no404 method included in the sample source code. Okay, so we might check that out later. And error handling. So things go wrong, especially when you're getting data from a remote server. The hero service.getHeroes method should catch errors and do something appropriate. To catch errors, you pipe the observable result from http.get through an RxJS catch error operator. Import the catch error symbol from RxJS operators along with some other operators that you're going to need later. So we've got catch error, map, and tap. We're gonna grab that and go back over to our hero service. I'm just gonna close these other things. And yeah, we'll import that. And now extend the observable result with the pipe method and give it a catch error operator. So basically we do that. Once we have our observable, we pipe it. Right, what's going on? Yeah, we pipe on the observable and then we can call catch error. So let me grab from here, I guess. And the way that I'm doing it, because I'm wanting to log that we fetched the heroes, maybe we just get rid of this for now. We'll just do this all in line like the tutorial is saying. So I'll just go return. And then we chain this pipe operator off of our observable, which lets us pass in a whole bunch of functions that are going to run one after the other. In this case, we only have one function. So that's going to be this catch error. So anytime, basically, if this observable emits an error, this will catch it. And we're presumably going to create a function on here called handle error. So let's go back over here. The catch error operator intercepts an observable that failed. The operator then passes the error to the error handling function. The following handle error method reports the error and then returns an innocuous result so that the application keeps working. So let's make that function. The following handle error will be shared by many hero service methods, so it's generalized to meet their different needs. Instead of handling the error directly, it returns an error handler function to catch error that it has configured with both the name of the operation that failed and a safe return value. So we got this nicely commented method down here, the nice JS doc block. So we got private handle error of T. So this is just saying, like, we can, when we're calling it, we can say what the type of this is. And if you look down here, we're saying that it will return a result of optional result of type T. So if we said that the error handle or the handle error is of type hero, optionally this could take a result and that's gonna be type T. And when we return our function that comes back from here, that takes an error which returns an observable of T. So again, if this is like a hero, it would be a observable of hero. Send the error to remote logging infrastructure, but instead of remote logging infrastructure, we're just going to do console.error infrastructure. Just log it in the browser. To do better job of transforming error for user consumption. But for now, this will just be when we call this .log. Remember, that's the stuff. Oh, we have a compilation error, so I can't really show you, but it's the message service that actually puts the messages onto the DOM, not just inside the console. And then it says, let the app keep running by returning an empty result. So we return of result, and the result is whatever got passed from the thing that called handle error. And we say that it's of type whatever the calling site said that it would be. If you're not familiar with TypeScript, that probably made no friggin' sense. Sorry. TypeScript's hard. So after reporting the error to the console, the handler constructs a user-friendly message and returns a safe value to the application, so the application can keep working. Because each service method returns a different kind of observable result, handle error takes a type parameter so it can return the safe value as the type that the application expects. Yeah, so I don't know if that helped clarify the meaning of that function, hopefully. If it didn't, whatever. You just have to sort of go with it sometimes, and with TypeScript, you just keep doing it. It makes sense over time. Tap into the observable. So the hero service methods will tap into the flow of observable values and send a message using the log method to the message area at the bottom of the page. They'll do that with the RxJS tap operator, which looks at the observable values, does something with those values, and passes them along. The tap callback doesn't touch the values themselves. Here is the final version of get heroes with a tap that logs the operation. Oh yeah, I forgot to grab this error handler, dude. We gotta go back to our hero service, and we are going to add the thing there and fix the weird indentation. I don't know why it's doing that. So yeah, we got that guy there, and now we're gonna tap into the observable. So this one, basically we're just updating, it's just adding this to our pipe. So if I go back up here, remember pipe is just, you can give it as many arguments as you want if you didn't know. And each argument is just a function. So we're calling tap first. We're taking whatever the, like basically this is just convention in JavaScript in general when you're taking an argument but you're not making use of it. But anyway, this just makes it so that we can log that we fetched heroes, but only if a value got emitted, and I think only if the value that got emitted was not, or basically if the observable did an error, I think. Not 100% sure on that. So we got that tap added. And are we still in a broken state? No, we're not anymore. So actually, if I go back, you can see it just called fetched heroes from our hero service, which got called right here in our tab. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, the only thing is I thought it was behaving like a mock server, so I thought we would see like network requests as we did stuff. But I guess it just like straight up intercepts them before you even see it in the dev tools. All right, let's go back over here. Get hero by ID. So most web APIs support a get by ID request in the form of base URL and then the ID of the resource. Here, the base URL is the heroes URL defined in the heroes in HTTP section, API/heroes, and ID is the number of the hero that you want to retrieve. For example, API/heroes/11. And it wants us to update the hero service so that we can get update the hero service get hero method with the following so that we can make that request. But I'm just going to take a quick look to see how long is this section of the tutorial. So we've got, all right, we will do this and then we're going to pause when we get to the update heroes section, I think. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we got this one, that one. We'll finish this and then we're gonna cut the video. So most web APIs, we read that already. We're gonna grab this here, add it to our hero service. And this is a public one, so I'm gonna kind of put it up with the public methods to keep things somewhat organized. Oh, this is replacing it. We're going to nuke our old one. And then let's just read through this really quick so we kind of understand. So get hero by ID will 404 if ID not found. So it takes an ID as a type number. It's returning an observable of hero just like it was before. But now we're building up this URL, and we're just using string interpolation here to go grab the hero's URL, which remember is just a private variable that we set up here. So take that hero's URL, we add a slash, and then we take whatever the ID is that got passed into the method. Now we're going to return this .http.get of type hero. We're going to pass in the URL. So that's going to be like, you know, heroes/11, for example. And then we're going to call that pipe method again. And we're also doing a tap so that we can log if this observable emits a value. And if the observable fails, we got our catch error again. This time, instead of calling it with hero array, we're calling it with just hero. And then the message that we're telling it to display is get hero ID of that. And then we're not giving it a response or what was the result. So let's try that, see if this is actually compiling. Go over here, I can close that now, we don't need it. It looks like it's compiling. I can go to our heroes list, I can click on a hero, and I can see the hero details. So looks like everything's working. Let me make sure we're all the way at the end. So yeah, we'll read this a little bit here. So there are 3 significant differences from get heroes. Get hero constructs a request URL with the desired hero's ID. The server should respond with a single hero rather than an array of heroes. And then get hero returns an observable of hero objects rather than an observable of hero arrays. Ooh, so that was pretty cool. Setting up that in-memory server is pretty cool. It's a lot easier than having to spin up like an actual back end and like seed a database or simulate a database. Yeah, I think that's a really nice inclusion to this tutorial, allowing you to actually get to play with the HTTP library, which is obviously a really important part of any front-end framework, whether it's included or not, is knowing how to make API calls, because that's where all your data is going to come from most of the time, right? But yeah, next video we'll continue on. We'll do update heroes, and we'll see if we can fit the rest of this series into one episode. And thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Follow me on Twitter, Dan Fletcher Dev. Watch me stream some time on Twitch under the original Fletch, and I'll see you at the next video. All right, bye.